I will say, however, editing these projects was the strangest experience that I've ever had doing any production in my career. And my girlfriend witnessed this as well. I felt this strange, like, I don't know, my eyelids would flutter, which is something that when I used to do, I used to go to these meditation retreats and stuff, and really get into to doing that, relaxing and everything. And if I felt like I was getting a lot of energy, my eyelids would flutter. This sounds really, kind of woo woo, but every single time I sat down to edit, it doesn't happen on other projects. In fact, I did a feature film, a supernatural dark comedy that I shot like 5 years into the 7 years just to take a break. And when I was editing that, nothing. Huh. And when I was editing these projects, they were just like flickering. It was the weirdest thing. And my girlfriend could see it from across the room. Very, very strange. And I said to Yvonne Smith, who's, a wonderful hypnotherapist, and she's got Suros, which is a support group for experiencers, which I was lucked out and I was able to go to a few times. And I talked to her and I go, I've never seen anything. I've never had any missing time or this or that. And she laughed at me and looked at me, very condescending, I might add. I don't know who she thinks she is. No. And she said, Dean, they don't need to knock on your door to get to you. They, in quotes. So I found that amusing and terrifying at the same time. But it grabs you, and you take these mini breaks. And I'm sure the audience knows this. You get to a point where you're going, God, am I really going to go to another convention? Am I really going to watch this or read another book or whatever? And sometimes you take these mini breaks, and then the little thing in your brain's going, curiosity. All right, let me just take a look. Yeah, let me just go back on there. And we joke about it, but Allie would call it, my girlfriend, she would call it, or maybe I called it that, and I didn't want to shame anyone, but hey, we can all talk here. Alien porn. I think that's, not actual alien porn, but it's anything that you're going, oh my God, I want to check out new footage of UFOs. What is the latest? And you click through all the subscribers, you're going, oh my God, the person is doing, this, and has another maybe piece of the puzzle. But then, unfortunately, a lot of these pieces don't fit together, and you got to throw it out. That goes to another puzzle that has nothing to do with what we're trying to do. Or anyway.
Yeah. No, that's something I have to tell you. I think it's a great Yvonne Smith story. So about 10 or 12 years ago, I was doing something in California, doing this show, but it had nothing to do with the show. I think it had to do with the antiques. So I was in Southern California, and I contacted Yvonne. I said, hey, Yvonne, can I actually come to where you do your hypnotherapy sessions and actually record a show with you right there? And she said, absolutely. So I got there one day and I set up all my equipment and microphones, did a test and everything. And we did a whole show together. And, I fly back to, where was I at the time? Yeah, New England. Fly back to New England. And I go to edit. This was before I was doing them live. And I went to edit, and there was a sound like Native American chanting. Hey, 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 that drowned out everything. You could just barely hear her and I talk.
Wow.
Through the whole thing, from the start to the end. There was nothing on my computer at the time. I think I had like a recording system or something. There was nothing that I could figure out that did it. And I called her up and I told her, and she goes, oh, that's not surprising at all.
Yeah. So, Yvonne has seen some wild stuff. So, yeah. I mean,
and I made the mistake of deleting it. I've told that story once or twice, and people are saying, why didn't you hang on to that and have someone, try to figure out what it was? And unfortunately, I went over it or deleted it or something. I can't remember. I never had the MP3s, long gone. So,
oh, geez.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
But anyway, I'd like for you, let's see, we're going for, say, another 11 minutes or so, somewhere around there. And I'd like for you, if you would, to grace us once again with the McPherson tape the whole beginning of how that happened. It's just such a fun story, and there are new people listening all the time. I want the new person to hear the McPherson Tape story, how it all started and the whole thing.
All right, I'll try to give
in
the
11
elevator.
minutes.
Yeah, in 11 minutes. Well, I want to answer some questions too that these guys might have.
Oh, in chat or okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So here's what happened. Here's the quick version of it. I was 24 years old, going to turn 25. All of my film director idols made their first film by 25. So I knew that I had to get my ass going and come up with something. And so I knew that I loved aliens, and I want to do something with that. And big Spielberg fan, obviously. And so I didn't have a pot to what in. And a buddy of mine said he would give me $6,500 to make a movie. And I laughed and said, yeah, I can't do anything with that except, shoot a wedding video. Well, that got me thinking a few days later, as I finished putting down Whitley Strieber's book, Communion. And I went, hold on, what if I did a first person version of this experience that Whitley and many other people have reported to have? And I did it from the POV of a camera. And so we shot this thing in 1988, came out in 83. And it was a family that gets abducted in a house in the woods, all in one night.
Wait a minute. Just 1 second. You said, I think you got your dates wrong. Can you say the dates again on that?
1988 is when we shot it. And then it was released in 1989.
I thought I heard you say 83. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
It actually took place in 83. The movie took place. That was the timestamp of when it was supposedly shot. Anyway, so I make this thing. Yeah. We go to sell it. I'm in the Bay Area. So I do a road trip down to LA, and everyone just hates my guts. And they're throwing their car keys at me and going, get out of my office. What is this crap? Who do you think you are? Don't ever come back here unless you have a real movie. Again, 10 years before Blair Witch. And so I felt that shame, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have come in here, but I had to try. And so we get someone who actually says, hey, you know what? I'll distribute this thing, kid. Don't worry about it. So give it to him. We think that we've won the lottery. And I call in a month or two later and say, hey, how's it doing? How's the film? And he goes, oh, it's on fire, like up. And I'm like, oh, that's great. What does that mean? How many units VHS at the time? And he goes, no, it's up in fire, like in flames. Our warehouse burned to the ground. And so your master and all your artwork is gone. And so I knew it wasn't Citizen Kane or The Godfather. So it's kind of like, oh, well, I've got the original source tapes that were shot on it. So if whatever, it's the film gods telling me, nice shot, kid, move forward. A few years later, I get a call from someone saying, I just saw your film at the International UFO Congress Convention. No credits were on the film. It was believed to be real. Unsolved Mysteries, hard copy, and a show called Encounters all want to do a story on this film. And so I end up going on national TV to debunk my own film. And then the internet hit, and I had to debunk it all over again. But in between that time, I did a remake for UPN. It was their first TV movie called Alien Abduction Incident in Lake County that came out a year and a half before Blair Witch. And again, everyone got fired at UPN when we were up in Vancouver with the guys from the X-Files shooting it. I came back, they fired me, cut it down to an hour. And some interesting news here is there's a chance that this film might actually get released. When I know more, I'll let you know. But a lot of people have said, how do I get this film? And it's been unavailable, the remake. Anyway, so that's how that all came about. And then I was invited for the 25th anniversary to go to the same UFO convention that it showed at, which is the International UFO Congress Convention by Alejandro Ross and Karen Brard. And so I went there and was really nervous, showed it, and everyone was cool. They had levity, no pitchforks that I see or torches. Everyone has a sense of humor in the UFO community. They're great. And so that got me back into having interest, into this. And I started meeting highly credible people. And that's when I went, whoa, I think there's a documentary or two to be had here that I've not seen before that really cuts to the aspects of the phenomenon that I have not seen represented. So there you go. How did we do?
That was great.
What was that?
We did. You did even better. Yeah. That's where when you and I met the first time, actually. And I'm trying to say, what year was that? 2017 or 14?
2018, right after the
2018.
2017 news. So it would have
Yeah.
been March or February. It was February because there was
That's right. Yeah.
Valentine's Day. All right, let's bring on these questions. Let's do this.
Okay, what are the questions? I'm sorry. These
no one has
questions
it.
in chat? Huh?
No one
You
has
see
any
some-
questions now. What the
All right,
hell?
I did. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. So anyone, we have some people here. So in chat, if you have a question, please type in your questions now. And I did see one up here. That is not a question. That is a statement, and that's another statement and another statement, all by the same person, about senses of humor or something. I think we're out of questions already. We have a lot of like good points and things like that. But
What was the blowback like on your fake alien movie?
oh, that must have just came
That's a
up.
good question.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Tom King.
Here it is. Yeah, Tom.
Yeah. Well, Tom, you should know, man, because you were no. So the blowback was that people said I was full of crap, and that I work for the government. And I actually had someone tell me this in person in a very nice way, because my last name is Alioto, and there used to be a mayor named Alioto in the 70s. And the scuttlebutt was that he was maybe my father, and that because he was a mayor and somehow tangentially tied in with the government in quotes, that they got to me to remake the original McPherson tape, which was called UFO Abduction originally, to throw people off the scent of the original being real. And that's why I did the other. And so I had to tell him, well, he would have had to have been my grandfather. And I never met the guy. And so that didn't work. And then I threw out some trivia his way. Joseph Alioto, who was the mayor, went after Look magazine because he was actually going to be groomed for president.